What if the sound of a violin wasn't just something you heard, but something you saw? A sudden flare of burnt orange drifting through the air. Or imagine biting into a lemon, and instead of just sourness, you feel a sharp electric buzz in your fingertips. It sounds poetic, maybe psychedelic, but for millions of people, this isn't a metaphor, it's Tuesday. This is synesthesia, a phenomenon where the brain doesn't keep the senses in tidy little boxes. Instead, it lets them spill into each other, blend, and collaborate in ways that completely reshape conscious experience. And once you really understand what's happening here, it quietly dismantles everything we assume about reality. Most of us grow up believing perception works like a clean control panel. Eyes handle sight, ears handle sound, taste stays in its lane, touch minds its business. But synesthesia laughs at that arrangement. For some people, words have flavors, numbers have personalities, days of the week come with textures, music paints the air in colors that feel as real as light itself. The word table might taste like dry toast. Wednesday might feel smooth and blue. A trumpet might explode into sharp yellow triangles. And here's the thing, this isn't imagination. Synesthetes aren't pretending or associating. Their brains are literally experiencing these sensations as real, automatic, and consistent. The same note produces the same color. The same name tastes the same way every time. It's perception with the walls knocked down, which raises a slightly uncomfortable question. What if your brain isn't just sensing reality, but actively remixing it? So what's actually going on under the hood? For a long time, scientists assumed synesthesia was some kind of wiring error, but the deeper we look, the stranger and more elegant it becomes. Brain imaging studies show that in synesthetes, sensory regions that normally stay separate light up together. Hear a sound, and the visual cortex joins the party. See a letter, and taste centers activate. It's not chaos, it's coordination. Think of the brain less like a switchboard, more like a jazz ensemble. In synesthesia, the instruments that usually take turns start improvising together. Neuroplasticity plays a huge role here. We're all born with far more sensory crosstalk than we end up with. As the brain matures, it usually prunes those connections. Synesthetic brains, they keep some of those bridges intact. There's also a genetic component. Synesthesia tends to run in families, suggesting this isn't a bug. It's a variation, a different tuning of consciousness. And synesthesia isn't just one thing, it's a spectrum. Some people experience graphene-colored synesthesia, where letters and numbers have specific colors. A is always red, 7 is always green. Others have chromesthesia, where sound creates color and movement in space. There's mirror touch synesthesia, where seeing someone else being touched triggers the same sensation in your own body. And one of the most mind-bending, lexical, gustatory synesthesia, where words produce taste. Names might taste like chocolate or sand or metal. Some experiences are subtle, like a faint overlay. Others are vivid, immersive, impossible to ignore. But here's a crucial point that often gets missed. Synesthesia is not a disorder. It doesn't need fixing. It doesn't impair reality testing. For most synesthetes, it enhances memory, creativity, and emotional richness. It's not confusion, it's coherence, just in a language most of us don't speak. This is where things get philosophical. If two people can look at the same world, hear the same sound, read the same word, and experience entirely different sensory realities, then which one is real? Synesthesia forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Perception isn't objective, it's negotiated. Your brain isn't showing you the world as it is. It's showing you the world as it interprets it. Synesthetes simply reveal the seams. And that has massive implications. For creativity, many artists and musicians credit synesthesia for their work. For memory, cross-sensory links create stronger neural anchors. For identity, The way you experience reality shapes who you become. So is synesthesia an evolutionary advantage? Maybe. Or maybe it's something even more intriguing, a glimpse of how flexible consciousness really is. Now, here's where things get wild. Researchers are exploring how synesthetic principles could be used in learning, pairing concepts with color, sound, or texture to improve retention. Others are experimenting with pain management, using cross-modal stimulation to reroute sensory processing. And then there's artificial synesthesia, VR and AR environments that deliberately blend senses, letting you see music, feel data, or taste visual patterns, not as a gimmick, but as a way to expand human experience. Because synesthesia hints at something profound. Reality isn't a fixed broadcast. It's a collaboration between the world and the brain. And the brain? Turns out it's way more imaginative than we ever gave it credit for. So maybe synesthesia isn't about hearing colors or tasting words. Maybe it's a reminder that consciousness isn't confined, that perception is pliable, and that the way you experience reality is just one version among many. The boundaries aren't where we thought they were, they never were. If your senses could blend, which one would you want to experience? Seeing music, tasting words, feeling colors? Drop it in the comments. And until next time, my little cherubs, Mima's always rooting for you.